A lot of Mac users think they're cleaning up their Mac by deleting random files. But in real, they're deleting stuff that actually macOS needs. Files that look like junk, folders that seem safe to remove, and advice that has been repeated online for many years. But on latest macOS, most of those instructions are irrelevant. In this video, I will show you what files you should never delete on your Mac and how to avoid breaking things while you're trying to clean up your macOS, especially if you're switching from a Windows PC to Mac computer. You must know, macOS works differently. It creates a lot of background files automatically, not because your Mac is messy. Instead, it is actively managing performance, stability, and memory. The problem starts when people delete things they don't fully understand, especially after watching some aggressive Mac cleanup advice online. Again, if you're switching from Windows to Mac, unused items on your macOS doesn't mean it's unimportant. They're temporary performance shortcuts that macOS and apps create to run faster. When you manually delete caches, one of two things happens. Either macOS immediately starts rebuilding them, which causes extra CPU usage and battery drain, or apps start to perform slow while recreating what you just deleted. This is really important for you to know. macOS automatically clears cache when it is not needed. Clearing them manually doesn't make your Mac faster. Instead, it causes more trouble to your Mac. It has to recreate the files that you deleted. Bottom line, caches are a performance feature, not a clutter. Your macOS also creates many system-managed files behind the scenes. And these files exist to keep your macOS more stable, secure, and predictable. Deleting them doesn't free any meaningful space. Most of the time, macOS automatically regenerates those files. That ultimately causes more CPU usage and extra battery drain, undoubtedly. On top of that, it also resets the app permissions. For example, you just deleted these files, suddenly your apps will start behaving strangely. You'll have to revalidate your app's permissions by going into the privacy and security windows and allow them manually once again. Here's a simple rule to remember. If macOS generated any files automatically, they're for some purpose. Deleting them manually is not going to do any good to your Mac or the apps. Another area people misunderstand is log files and other storage. It's important for you to know log files help macOS and apps troubleshoot problems automatically. They rotate automatically and clean themselves up over the time. And other storage is not a folder you can empty. It is just a category made up of system data, app support files, and background resources. Again, trying to clean them manually creates more problems than it solves. Application support files are another common mistake. Now let me explain you this first. These files store data like app preferences, licenses, saved settings, and user data. When people delete them thinking they're cleaning up the space, apps start resetting, re-downloading data, or behaving unpredictably. But here is an exception. If you're removing files and folders associated with an app that is no longer active on your Mac, you don't use it anymore, you already removed it, it's absolutely fine to trash them. This is also why third-party cleaner apps cause more problems than they solve. If you're using a Mac optimizer, after every cleanup, if you notice you have to revalidate your usernames, passwords. See, the cleaner apps don't understand the context. They delete files based on type, not based on why macOS created them. macOS already manages storage intelligently. By installing and running these third-party cleaner apps, they act like a Windows apps and they randomly clean up a lot of data that you are going to need right after the cleanup. The safest way to clean a Mac is very simple. Remove things you personally choose to install or download, like old apps no longer in use, large downloads that are not needed anymore, or media files you don't use anymore. You can remove freely such things from your Mac. When you clean up your own content, you're not fighting with the system. Instead, you're working with it. Good Mac maintenance is not about deleting things regularly. Let me be real, macOS works smoother when you allow it to do its job. When you start manipulating it, when you start kind of outsmarting its process, it creates more problems. So simply, unless you really know what you're doing, what you're deleting, don't get yourself into the deleting business. You'd be surprised to hear most Mac problems, they don't come from the neglect. They come from over-optimization. When users get so obsessed with their device, they start just jumping here and there, delete this and that to keep things cleaner, nicer, they cause more trouble. The purpose of video was very clear. I just wanted you to know if you're getting yourself into specific directories on your macOS and deleting things based on the recommendations, first you understand the context. And only when you know, then you delete. Else, if your Mac is running absolutely normal, don't do any optimization. It is not needed. Your Mac is already doing it for you. However, if you have a condition when your Mac is already slow due to old hardware or maybe the over-optimization already, then you should try the right tricks. There's a dedicated video we made about Mac optimization wherein if the performance is low, you can carefully watch it and apply the instructions. All safe, secure, no problem. The link will be in the description below. If this video saved you from deleting something from your macOS, then type me in the comment. Also, if you're now ready to learn to safeguard your Mac in the best way possible without any third-party app, then you should go ahead and watch this video. And before you click on it, go ahead and hit that like button if you found this video helpful, and subscribe Crazy Ears for future tech tips, tricks, and solutions. Until next time, you take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one.